Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are finally doing the May reading wrap-up. We are going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of May. Yes, change of scenery because I'm tired of filming in my office. So I actually read a total of 8 books this month, which is actually my best reading month in a long time. Before we get into the video, my name is Karen. I do a lot of books, fashion, lifestyle content. If any of that is of interest to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now let's get started with the video. I actually read quite a few Kindle books, so Kindle limited books, and I read some of those on my phone and then some of them just on my e-reader. And the very first book that I actually finished this month was this month, because it's already June. I'm super late with this video, but the first book that I finished technically in the month of May was The Shades, which is the first book of the Bride You series. If you know me, you know one of my all-time favorite series is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. This is kind of like a sequel slash prequel. All the books are kind of connected, and this is the very first book. This book, let's see, refresh my memory, what's it about? The book follows Betsy, which is one of the friends from the Bride You, from the Off-Campus series. Sorry, this is getting very confusing. And then the girl's name is, I think it might be Dean's sister from the Off-Campus series, Summer. I can't see her name on here, but anyways, it follows them and their entire like love story and stuff like that. They're very different. They're definitely like the opposites attract trope, and I really liked it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This is about like a campus university type of series, and there's a lot of hockey involved, so they are both like hockey series, in case you didn't know what I'm talking about. And then my second book, I went on to skip book number 2 because I wasn't very interested in the storyline that I was gonna follow. So I ended up reading book number 3, which is Hunter, one of the guys from the first series too, and Demi, and he's kind of like a playboy, kind of like Dean. If you read the Off-Campus series, you know Dean is like typical playboy, and he kind of like took Hunter under his wing and like kind of taught him how to be a playboy too. This book follows Hunter and Demi, which is the girl that he's gonna wind up falling in love with. Spoiler alert. I mean, you know, these books are pretty predictable, so if that's not something you're into, then I wouldn't recommend these books. I gave this book a 5 star. It was probably one of my favorites out of the series so far. I've only read 2. I started book number 4, but I didn't finish it. I didn't really get into it. So those are the first 2 books that I read. And moving on to an actual physical book that I read this month, and that is 99 Days by Katie Cotugno. I am obsessed with this book. This book was so good. It really hits the summer vibes perfectly. I think I recommended this one in my summer recommendations video because it's just great. So this follows Julia, Gabe, and I think, what's the other boy's name? So Julia is the main character of this book. She goes back to her hometown after something really dramatic happened to her, and there's this whole drama. It is a love triangle trope, so if you don't like that, then probably don't read this book. I personally am obsessed with that trope, so I really liked it. And this one, it does follow pretty much the 3 of them, but there's only one point of view, and it's kind of written in like a diary, so it takes you through like each day in 9 days, and I kind of like the format. I think I gave this book a 5 star. It is, no, I gave it a 4 star. I know why I gave it a 4 star. Okay, so hard to say why I gave it a 4 star. Fine, I'll just say I just feel like we didn't really get closure. There is a book number 2, so there's a sequel to this book, and I will be talking about that actually right after this. But anyways, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't want to get too much into what the story is about because I know you guys don't like that, and I don't want to spoil the book for you, but it's really great summer read, so if you're interested, pick it up. Technically, I didn't read them in this order, but the next book that I picked out was a sequel for this one. It was 9 Days and 9 Nights by Katie Cotugno. This one does give us a little bit more closure. I didn't really like this book much. It wasn't as good as the first one. Can't tell you what the book is about because then I will spoil the first book for you guys, but this is just the sequel to this book. So let me see what I gave this book. I honestly don't remember. I have a Goodreads account, but I haven't really felt like linking it down below because I don't know, I just kind of want to keep it private at the moment. So I gave this book 3 stars. I don't know, I just feel like it was lacking so many things, and this one only follows the characters for 9 days. So, and there's just some stuff in it that I just really didn't like, and I feel like they were kind of out of character for them. And then some new characters in the book I didn't really connect with, so 3 stars for me. And I actually read 2 Colleen Hoover books this month. Wow, okay. So then I read Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I read that on my Kindle. If you don't know, that is free if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. So Regretting You follows, it's kind of different because it gives you the POV of mother and daughter, and it does kind of go back and forth in time for like half the book. So pretty much Morgan is the mom and then Clara is the daughter, and just kind of follows them. And oh, this is not a spoiler because you can read this in the back of the book. Morgan had Clara when she was like 16 years old, and the relationship's pretty complicated, and there's kind of like a lot of agony throughout because like, you know, their perspective and how they feel about each other is so different if they actually knew each other, experience what's going on and what they actually think happened. And I really like Miller too, which is the love interest for Clara. Colleen Hoover is honestly the reason why I read so much this month, because it didn't get me in a reading slump and I read this book super fast. Okay, so on to the next book that I read this month. I lost count. I think we're like on number 4 right now. Okay, so it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book, listen, I don't want to get any hate for what I'm about to say about this book. I did do a reading blog on this book. It's unfortunately not going to go up until after this video, but I'm still going to tell you my thoughts about this because I just need to get it out. I still recommend you watch the reading blog because you will see like the wave of emotions that I was going through reading this book. Like, I really liked it when I first started, and then it really had me hooked, and then it started getting too slow for me. Anyway, so this book is about Nora and then Charlie Lastra. So it's supposed to be an enemies to lover trope, and let me start by saying this is not an enemies to lover trope, so it doesn't even fit in that category. Also, this is not a romance book. There's some romance in it, but the main trope this follows like the whole sister drama, and I was not a fan of any of the characters in this book. I'm sorry to say that, but I love beach read, and I never actually finished People Moving Vacation because I couldn't connect with it. And I was waiting for this book for so freaking long that maybe that's what kind of affected how I feel about it. But pretty much they're like working publishing. It doesn't really get that much into them loving books. Like, they do work in like publishing and like editing, I think, or something. And she's like a book agent, and they years ago, and then they reconnect again years later, and it does kind of follow them. So Nora has a sister named Libby, and she convinces her to go to this like small town that one of the books is based on, and just to kind of experience the small town, you know, life. The plot twist in this book was so bad. I'm sorry. I know I'm being super harsh, and I really like Emily Henry's writing, and that's why my rating wasn't lower than what it was, but this book let me down immensely. Like, okay, so the main thing for me was like, I finished the book and I feel like nothing happened. I'll just leave it at that. I feel like nothing happened. Like, how many pages is this book? 373 pages, and I feel like nothing happened. It took me like 2 weeks to get through this. I had to take breaks from it, read other books. I just couldn't get into it. I decided to finish it because I was doing a reading vlog on it, and honestly don't even like doing reading vlogs. I feel like I never really stick with them. I did stick with it for this one, and it really disappointed me for the rating that I'm about to get into. So I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. I know it seems really low, and I know it still has like pretty decent ratings on Goodreads. Honestly, let me know that in the comments what you like about this book, because I I just didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Do you know that this is more of a character development type of book and not like a plot driven book? But maybe that's just not for me, and that's why I just couldn't connect with it. But 5 stars for me. I'm sorry, I just couldn't get into it. And I read another Colleen Hoover book to kind of save the month. It didn't save the month. So honestly, I thought this was a way better reading month, and it actually was, but I guess not. So I read Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. This is book number 1 of the Hopeless series. This follows, let's see, it follows Dean Holder and Sky. This is girl that is adopted and she's being homeschooled, and then she convinces her mom to let her go back to school, and she does. Her best friend moves away, and then she meets this guy and they like go running together every day, and there's just like a lot of drama. Look up the triggers in this book because I don't want to really get into it and spoil it for you guys. There are a lot of triggers in this book, so I'll probably research that before reading it because I know it might not be for everybody. There's a lot of really twisted and dark things in this book that I just don't think are going to be good for all of you guys. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, so another 3 out of 5 stars back to back. The very last book that I read this month was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This book was freaking great. I wish it was like a 4.5 or 4.7 out of 5 stars rating on Goodreads, because this book wasn't necessarily a 5-star read for me, but it was up there. It was great. So this book, just start by saying, if you've read Love in Other Words, it's very freaking similar to this. I don't want to say this like a copycat, but it is. But a lot of people were saying that it was similar to Love in Other Words / People Made on Vacation. I don't see that. I'm already like, I almost got to the ending of People Made on Vacation, and I just don't see that at all. A mix between Love in Other Words, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and 99 Days by Katie Kanugo. No. So those 3 books, if you mix them together, you get this book. That's what I thought. This is about C and Sam. So it is a childhood friends to lovers trope, and I am obsessed with that trope. C's family buys a house a lake house next to Sam and his family's house, and then they become friends. He pretty much like gets dumped on her because his brother is older than him and he doesn't want to hang out with him. So Sam are the same age, and his brother's like, you guys should hang out together so I can like have time to do like older kid stuff. And it follows them throughout the summer, and it is alternating timelines, so it does go back and forth between like them as children and them as adult. And it's exactly like Love in Other Words in that sense. And then we get the big reveal at the end. I called it. I definitely saw it coming. Maybe it's because, anyways, I just saw it coming. I definitely saw it coming. I do think it's highly similar to the books that I mentioned, but then again, each of those books together, of course you're gonna get a great book. Still, this is her debut novel, and I think great job for this. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I think that's a pretty fair rating due to the fact that it wasn't super original in the sense that it does like kind of grab a lot of stuff from different books. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but it does, so that's why I ducked like 1 star, because it was predictable, but it was just great. Like, this book is gonna be very dear to my heart, and it's a great summer read. Okay, so those are all the books that I read this month. I think it was a pretty good reading month. For the month of June, I want to read 10 books, so I want to read 2 more books. I'm already working on it. I'm also with the first book I'm reading, and it's already like, I'm already behind the goal. We'll get it done. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you disagree with me and my opinions. Now keep in mind, I am entitled to my own opinion about the books I read. So it's okay to disagree with me. That's just how I felt when I read the books. And let me know also any summer reading recommendations you have. I'm super into like a summer reading mood. Welcome any recommendations you guys have, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 600 subscribers. We are on track for that 1,000 subscribers goal for the end of the year. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.